Okay, hello students. So this is our lecture 2 and the unit is Laplace transform, Laplace transformation. And before starting our lecture 2, let us in brief just see what we have done in your lecture number 1. So in lecture 1, we did what the Laplace transformation and Laplace transform is. So basically transformation is a operation which when applied on some function transforms the given function into some other function, and that resultant function is called transform. So similarly here in case of your Laplace transformation, this function or your this transform is given by this one Laplace of fx. This is Laplace transformation. The transformation or operation is given by this integral, and whatever we get after solving this integral comes out to be a function of some parameter p is a real number. Then this pfp is called Laplace transform, and this Laplace of fx, which is denoted by capital L, is a Laplace transformation. So this was what we did in the beginning to see what Laplace transformation and transform is. After that we came to various conditions that are used in the existence of your Laplace transform, and there we did two main things. One is your piecewise continuous function and other is function of exponential order c. So we say that a function is a piecewise continuous function if in that function defined on some interval where it is defined, we can divide that interval into finite number of subintervals, and in each of subinterval the function is continuous except at finite number of points where it can have jump discontinuity. So in piecewise continuous function, the jump discontinuities are there that are included in piecewise continuous function, and jump discontinuity means that if you have a jump discontinuity at some point x equals to a, then limit as you approach that point from left hand side and right hand side, that will be same, sorry, that will exist but that will not be same. The limit left hand side and right hand side will exist but that will not be same. So that will be representing the jump discontinuity. And then function of exponential order, we say a function is of exponential order if we can find a relation of this form where m is some positive constant and c is also your exponential order. It can have any value, c can have any value, and also for some x greater than x1. So we say that function is your of exponential order c. Now using these two properties of piecewise continuous function and the function of exponential order, we define the existence theorem for Laplace transform, and that says that whenever we have a function which is piecewise continuous, even if it is not continuous but a piecewise continuous, that will work, and it is of exponential order, that means its growth is less than constant times some exponential function after some for all x greater than equals to 0, then Laplace transform of that function will always exist. So these two conditions make sure that Laplace of a given function, if that function satisfies these two properties, then Laplace will always exist. However, these conditions of piecewise continuity and exponential order are sufficient conditions for the existence. That is, if even a function is not piecewise continuous, or if it is not exponential order, or even if that does not satisfy these two conditions, that is neither piecewise continuous nor it is of exponential order, then still it can have the Laplace transform. Its Laplace transform can still exist. So that is why we say these conditions are sufficient conditions. And finally, we did that whenever the Laplace of any function will exist, you get fp, then that fp Laplace transform will always tend to 0 as p tends to infinity. So that is the property of Laplace transform, that whenever it will exist, it will tend to 0 as p tends to infinity. So now let us start our lecture 2, and in lecture 2 now we are doing some of the functions, formulas for the Laplace transform of some function. So Laplace transform, I will be representing it by short form LT whenever it is going to be used. So Laplace transform of some functions. So first, it is your Laplace of fx is equals to k. So say if you have a function constant, k is a constant, so in that case, if I find the Laplace of fx, then it comes out to be k upon p, where p is greater than 0. So this is the formula for the Laplace of some function fx that is constant, that is Laplace of constant function is equals to k upon p. So this is the first formula. Now let us derive this formula and see how the things are working here. So here to find Laplace of fx, and by the definition of the Laplace of fx, it is e raised to power minus px fx dx. This is the formula we have for the Laplace transform of function fx. So here function is k, so this is 0 to infinity k times e raised to power minus px dx. So this is k times 0 to infinity e raised to power minus px dx. So I need to solve this integral, and this integral comes out to be e raised to power minus px upon minus p 0 to infinity, that is minus k upon p, I take 1 by p outside, that is e raised to power px 0 to infinity. Now you can see here, when I am putting the limits, it is minus k upon p, this is e raised to power infinity minus e raised to power naught, this is in case p is greater than 0, and this comes out to be equals to infinity if p less than 0. You can see if this p is less than 0, the term e raised to power px will go to numerator, and e raised to power infinity will make whole the term equals to infinity. So we need the term or the integral, we need some finite value of the integral, we need when integral exists, so we need this value, we do not need infinity. So Laplace of k, it comes out to be minus k upon p, 1 upon infinity is 0 minus 1, and it is k upon p provided p is greater than 0. So we got the formula. You can see we did the derivation also. This is k upon p, where p is greater than 0, because if p is not going to be greater than 0, then this formula, the integral, will not exist. And that is the thing. You remember that in the last lecture we did the existence theorem, and we say that if it is piecewise continuous, function is of exponential order, then Laplace transform always exists for p greater than c. There we write p greater than c. So this p greater than c basically comes in this way. This defines the condition p greater than 0. Here 0, basically c equals to 0 here. How it is so? Because fx is equals to k. So mod fx is simply k is mod k. Okay, and I can write it as mod k dot e raised to power naught x. So if I compare this with the definition of exponential order, that is, remember that you have mod fx less than equals to m dot e raised to power cx. So there I got m as mod k and c equals to 0. So here is your c, that is p less than c. So in this way, the existence theorem, there we were saying that Laplace will exist when p is greater than c. So this is, and at that time I told you that when we will do some examples or formulations, then we will see this, how this c comes. So here it is c, p greater than 0 means p greater than c, at least in this particular case. Now the formulas I am writing as such, we are not going for the derivation of these formulas. If fx equals to x, then the Laplace is 1 upon p square, where p is greater than 0. Fx equals to x raised to power n, and the Laplace of x raised to power n is n factorial upon p n plus 1, n is positive integer, n is a positive integer and p is greater than 0. Fourth, fx is equals to e raised to power ax. So Laplace of eax is 1 upon p minus a provided p is greater than a. So these conditions p greater than a comes when you solve the integral. So from there these conditions will come. And the Laplace of sine ax, and this the Laplace of sine ax is a upon p square plus a square provided p is greater than 0. Then Laplace of cos ax. So in case the function is cos ax, the formula for the Laplace is p square plus p upon p square plus a square, p is greater than 0. So these 6 formulas are there. One for constant x raised to power n, ex, sin x and cos x, that will be used frequently in our questions. Apart from this, we have 3 another formulas. So one of them is related to your Laplace of sine hyperbolic function, sine hyperbolic ax, and this is similar to the sine ax. Here it is a upon p square minus a square provided p is greater than mod a. And Laplace of cos hyperbolic ax, it is p upon p square minus a square provided p is greater than mod a. So either you can remember these formulas for hyperbolic function, or you can derive it using the formula that sine hyperbolic ax is e raised to power ax minus e raised to power minus ax upon 2, and cos hyperbolic ax is equals to eax plus e raised to power minus ax upon 2. So you can use this thing also, that this formula is for sine hyperbolic and cos hyperbolic. You can use these formulas to find out the Laplace of sine hyperbolic ax and cos hyperbolic ax in case you do not or in case you are not able to remember the formula. So this is your 2 of the formula. Third, we will be doing it later, the another formula that we will be using later. So now we come to some of the questions based upon these formulas and the definition of Laplace transform. So let me first start with the Laplace. Example 1. Find the Laplace transform of piecewise continuous function fx is equals to 0 less than x less than 2, x greater than equals to 2. So now you can see, at least the time being, the formulas that we have done here. Now since this question, when we will be moving forward in our lectures later, then we will do some second shifting property and other properties there. Then this question can be solved using those properties. But now at the time being, at the moment, since we can solve this question using the definition of Laplace transform, so that the properties various, the function, the Laplace of various function that we did can be used here. So Laplace of fx is 0 to infinity, sorry, it is e raised to power minus px. So this is the formula. Now you can see that in this case, from 0 to 2, the value of function is 0. So 0 to 2, it is e raised to power, let me px, and fx is 0. Okay, and from 2 to infinity, the value is 3. So 2 to infinity, the value of function is 3. So this is dx. So I got the integral 3 times 2 to infinity e raised to power minus px dx, and that is minus 3 upon p e raised to power minus px 2 to infinity. I take the integral, and this comes out to be minus 3 upon p 1 upon e raised to power px 2 to infinity. So minus 3 upon p, so 1 upon infinity minus e raised to power 2p, and this comes out to be 3 upon p times e raised to power 2p, or 3 upon p e raised to power minus 2p, provided p is greater than 0, because when we are writing this 1 upon infinity, then we assume that this p is going to be greater than 0, otherwise this whole term will become infinite. If this infinity, then in that case will be in the numerator, and this will make this integral non-finite. Then integral will not exist in case this infinity goes in the numerator, in case p is less than 0. So p is greater than 0. So the Laplace of this function, that is piecewise continuous, is given by 3 upon p e raised to power minus 2p, where p is greater than 0. So this is the solution. Now this is the question we did by using the definition of the Laplace transform. Now let us find the Laplace transform, and the Laplace transform of function fx is equals to cos square 2x, and the Laplace transform of function fx equals to cos square 2x. So this is the Laplace cos square 2x that we have to find, and since we do not have any formula for cos square x, but we have a formula for cos x, so we convert it into the form of cos, and that is 1 plus cos 4x by 2. So now, before moving forward, just let me write in short here. Just I forget one thing, one property that must be mentioned. It is not that much important, but still it must be told that the linearity of Laplace transform. So what does it says? If fx and gx are any two functions, because we need this property, I can do it, but let me properly write what the property says. Are any two functions whose Laplace transform exists, then for any two real constants, alpha and beta, you have Laplace of alpha times fx plus beta times gx, and you can always solve it like alpha times Laplace of fx plus beta times the Laplace of gx. This property of linearity of Laplace transform, this is the property of linearity, and it holds also for the Laplace transform. It holds for all of the transformation. Remember that differentiation, if you have to do the differentiation of this function, say 4 e raised to power minus x, what you will do, you can write it always, you can always differentiate it like this one, 4 times differentiation of e raised to power minus x, and then you write it as 6x minus 4 e raised to power minus 4x. So this is what linearity is. We are doing, or we have done it in differentiation, integration, and similar we can use it in here, Laplace transform and Laplace transformation. So this property now we can use here, and this will give you Laplace of 1 by 2. Let me just write it as this one first. So now let me start from here. The Laplace of we are doing cos square 2x, and we have reached 1 by 2 cos 4x. So using the property of linearity, I can always write it as your 1 by 2 Laplace of 1 plus 1 by 2 Laplace of cos 4x. So now I can use the formula as such. 1 by 2 Laplace of 1 is 1 by p, or even if I take Laplace of 1 by 2, that is 1 upon 2p. Same thing. 1 by 2, the Laplace of cos 4x is p upon p square plus 16. So the answer, the Laplace transform of this function is 1 upon p upon p square plus 16. So this is the formula for the given question. So here we use also the property of linearity that we will be frequently using in various questions of these Laplace transform. Now, before proceeding to the example 3, we have one more formula that I was telling you, that after those 6 standard formulas for the function, for the Laplace transform function, in addition we have 2 for the hyperbolic and 1 for the functions of this type. Remember that we did Laplace of xn as n factorial upon Pn plus 1, where n is positive integer and no doubt p is greater than 0. Also we have this gamma function n plus 1, Pn plus 1 in case n is greater than minus 1 and n is a real number. And this is equals to, and p is greater than 0. So this is the another formula that we will be using whenever n is a real number, in these type of your functions. If n is an integer, we will be simply using this one, but this formula is more general form of this formula. So here what this gamma function is, let me just in brief tell some of the properties of gamma function that we will be using in the questions. So gamma function is a special function. We are not going in much detail because all this theory falls under the category of special functions. So it is a special function defined as gamma z, written as this one. This is called gamma of z, 0 to infinity e raised to power minus t raised to power z minus 1 dt. So this is the special function gamma that it is defined, where z is any complex number except z equals to except your non-positive integers, that is z is not equals to 0, minus 1, minus 2. This is, so that is always a positive. Then we define the gamma function as such, and some of its properties that we will be using are gamma of 1 is 1, and the property second, gamma of n plus 1 is equals to n factorial when n is your positive integer, and this is n gamma n if n is greater than 0 and n a real number. This is the property that is going to be used. And then thirdly, gamma of 1 by 2 is equals to under root 5. So we are just saying these three properties. Gamma 1 is 1, gamma n plus 1 is n factorial when your n is positive integer. So you can see gamma n plus 1 is n factorial. So this, in that case gamma n plus 1 is equals to n factorial if n is a positive integer. So this formula in that case reduces to this formula. In case n is a positive integer, then gamma n plus 1 is your n factorial. Otherwise it is n gamma n when n is greater than 0 and a real number. And finally gamma 1 by 2 is under root 5. So these three are the properties that we will be using in our questions, where x raised to power n, in x raised to power n we have n as a real number. Okay, so example for this, let us do this example. Find the Laplace of the function fx, where fx is your e raised to power minus x plus your x, this one, under root x cube. So this is Laplace of e raised to power minus x plus Laplace of x raised to power 3. So now I can use the formula for here. It is Laplace of formula Ex, that is 1 upon p minus e. So here it is becomes 1 upon p plus 1 plus Laplace of x 3 by 2. Laplace of x 3 by 2. Now I can see here that here in this form it is of the form x raised to power n, where n is a real number. So the formula for such type of function is gamma n plus 1 p raised to power n plus 1, where n is greater than minus 1 and real number, and no doubt p is greater than 0. So let us use the formula for this x raised to power n. It is 3 by 2 plus 1 upon p 3 by 2 plus 1. So let me write it as 1. So we got the formula, we apply the formula as such. Now to solve this 3 by 2 plus 1 gamma, we have a formula that gamma n plus 1 is equals to n gamma n, when n is greater than 0 and a real number. We have formula this one. So using this, n here is 3 by 2. So it is 3 by 2, 3 by 2. Now further I can solve it. So I can write it as 1 by 2 plus 1. I can write this 3 by 2 as 1 by 2 plus 1. So again using the formula, this one, it can be written as 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2. So I got 3 by 4 gamma 1 by 2. Again this your gamma 1 by 2 is your under root pi. We did some of the properties of gamma function, and from there gamma 1 by 2 is under root pi. So this gives you 3 upon 4 under root pi. So this is the value of gamma 3 plus by 2 plus 1, and now we can put this here in your this equation number 1. So put 2 in 1, put 2 in 1, we get the Laplace of the function. We get the Laplace of function fx that has been asked is 1 upon p plus 1 plus 3 upon 4 under root pi p raised to power 5 by 2. Yeah, so this is the required result for the given question for the Laplace transform. So here it is the formula for your solution for the given question. So up to this we checked how we can use the various formulas of Laplace transform for solving various questions. Now we are moving toward some properties of Laplace transform. After these basic formulas for the Laplace transform of some functions, we are now moving to some properties of Laplace transform. So let us start with your property 1, that is called as first shifting property. So here it says that let fx be a function that is piecewise continuous and of exponential order c for all x greater than or equal to 0. So function is piecewise continuous and of exponential order c. So its Laplace will surely exist, so that Laplace of fx is equals to fp p greater than c. So Laplace of function is existing. Then he says if I have to find the Laplace of eax dot fx, that is fx is multiplied by some exponential function of the form ex, then that Laplace transform will comes out to be fp minus a, provided p is greater than c. So here we use first shifting property to find the Laplace of the function which we get in this form, that where function fx whose Laplace we can find out easily is given in the form of ex dot fx. So this is your first property, and it says that whenever you are getting function in this form, that is function is multiplied with some exponential function, what you do first, find the Laplace of fx. You will get Laplace of fx as fp. Here it is. And then simply for finding the Laplace of ex fx, what you need to do, just in place of p, put p minus a in the Laplace transform of fx. So only thing what you have to do, you have to find the Laplace of fx, that is fp. So Laplace of ex dot fx, simply change this p by p minus a in this fp. So that is the criteria how we work while using this first shifting property. So we remember this property by saying that the function is multiplied with exponential function, and you place fp by p minus e, that is p in Laplace transform fx by p minus e. So how the questions are done using second shifting property. So example number 1, find the Laplace transform of fx equals to your cos square 2x. No, this is the wrong question. I did. No, it is not cos square x. Fx is equals to your, yes, here it is, e raised to power minus 2x sine 3x. So since I am doing first question for this property, so let me do it in detail. Laplace of this gx, taking it as gx. So I need to find the Laplace of gx. That is the Laplace of e raised to power minus 2x dot sine 3x. And you can see it is of the form ex dot fx, where a is equals to minus 2 and fx is equals to sine 3x, a form that we did in the first shifting property. Here it is, Laplace of ex is equals to fp minus a. So here we have to find the Laplace of fx. To get the Laplace of ex dot fx, I need to find the Laplace of fx, that is fp. So the Laplace of fx, that is here sine 3x, by using the formula is 3 upon p square plus 9. And this is your fp, Laplace of fx. This is your fp. That is what we need. So by second shifting property, Laplace of ex dot fx, that in this question is e minus 2x dot sine 3x. Okay, that is your fp minus a by the formula of first shifting property. Here it is first shifting property. This is the Laplace of ex dot fx is fp minus a. So we are just writing that ex dot fx here in our case is this one, and this will be going to be equal to this one. A in this question is your, we have written here, a is minus 2, here it is. So this is fp plus 2, fp plus 2, and since your fp is 3 upon p square plus 9, since fp is 3 upon p square plus 9, so I just need to replace in place of p plus 2, that is p plus 2 the whole square plus 9. So this is what the Laplace of e minus 2x sine 3x is by using first shifting property. So just only thing is I need to find the Laplace of the fx or the function, and finally the Laplace of e minus 2x sine 3x will be replacing p in the fp, Laplace transform fx, replacing that p by p plus 2 or p minus a. So this is how we do these type of questions. Similarly, now let me just take another example. Find the Laplace of e raised to power 3x dot x cube. So I need to find the Laplace of this one, that is, say this is your gx, so Laplace of e 3x dot x cube, and it is of the form Laplace of e ax dot fx, where a is 3 and fx is x cube. Now you can see that clearly. This is again question of the first shifting property where fx is multiplied with ex. Fx is multiplied with ex term. So I am now doing it straightforward. Even I needed to write these type of things while I will be doing the question. It is just since we are doing it for first time, so I am writing all those things. Otherwise, while doing it in paper or in test, we will not be writing it as such. So there, what we do, since Laplace of x cube is equals to 3 factorial upon p raised to power 4. This is so by first shifting property, Laplace of e raised to power 3x dot x cube, replace p by p minus a. A here is your 3. Remember that first shifting property, ex dot fx is equals to fp minus a, where fp is Laplace of fx. So this is what we have done in the first shifting property. So here replace p by p minus 3. This is your 3 factorial p minus 3 raised to power 4. So this is how we do. It is so simple. In example number 1, I just did it in detail, but this is usually done in 2 steps. First, find the Laplace of your fx and then Laplace of your ex dot fx. Okay, so this is your second example regarding your second shifting property. Now, third example. Let us find the Laplace of this function. Again, you can see this is again of the form of Laplace e raised to power minus 3x dot x minus 2 ka whole square. So again, it is of the form Laplace ex dot fx. So it is again of the form ex dot fx, where a is your minus 3 and fx is x minus 2 ka whole square. When you will have practice of these type of question, we are not going to write all these things. We directly start with this, that since we just identify that it is a question of a shifting property, so we just start with the Laplace of function, that is x minus 2 ka whole square. That in this case is x raised to power square minus 4x plus 4. So using the property of linearity, it is minus 4 Laplace of x plus Laplace of 4. You can write it as, so this is 2 factorial upon p raised to power q minus 4 upon p ka square plus 4 upon p. So this is the Laplace of your x minus 2 ka whole square. So Laplace of e raised to power minus 3x dot x minus 2 ka whole square. Just replace p by p plus 3 in this fp. This is basically your fp. So replace p by p plus 3 as a is minus 3. So it is 2 upon p plus 3 ka cube minus p 4 upon p plus 3 ka square plus 4 upon p plus 2. So this is the result solution of this question, and here this is how we use your first shifting property to solve the Laplace transform of the function that are given in the form exponential dot fx, where ex is multiplied by fx. So with this, so this is p plus 3, sorry, I just write it wrong, it is p plus 3. Okay, so this is how we usually do the question for first shifting property. So with this, I am closing this lecture, and after this we will be doing the property number 2 and property number 3 in the next lecture. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot.